Hello, everyone. This is Sohini, and I am holding on to see if the Zoom YouTube stream is running live or not. Okay, I do see, I do see that there is. Okay, so I'm just gonna hang around here for a little while just to see if any people join. So apologies for my delay today, and I've been I've not been doing this YouTube to the Zoom to YouTube launches in the last few years. So again, it just escaped me. So that's the reason why I have to figure out how this streaming works. I'm hoping that from the next office hours, it's going to be on time, and also it's going to be better in quality. So looking forward to let's see if some people can join, and then we will get straight into the office hours for today. All right. Just making a post in case somebody wants to join. All right. So this is March 28th, and today is about a week after I had published the video on getting started with vibe coding. And in the first introduction to vibe coding, I had showed how I'm starting to use tools like Replit, ChatGPT in order to figure out how we can code just with English language. So now we do not need to learn all of the intricacies of the coding languages, but if we give the right command, then we will be able to figure out not just a code base, but it's the whole stack, right? From a concept to publishing, it's becoming very easy. However, it does come with its challenges. So today, I wanted to talk about the challenges, everything that I faced as I did demonstrated, towards the end, that I literally aged in order to just try to get that one demo up and running. So if that's the case, then how do people really become AI native? So that's the major, question at hand. So I wanted to discuss, all of the different challenges and things to watch out for if you are planning to build your own research buddy. All right. And I will also give you a sneak peek as to what is coming in next week's content. All right. So let me check on the stream health once more time. And it looks good. Sip of my coffee. It's early morning here. And let's get started. So as a setup, I just am using my iPad and my mouse, a wireless mouse that is connected to it. I wanted to start with very little, minimalist sort of situation because, we can definitely get VS Code, and as we progress through this course, we will see much more complex, articles coming at play. But right now, I wanted to definitely start with, minimalist situation. So that's the reason why I started just with the minimum, which is my iPad and ChatGPT. So let me sign in into ChatGPT. All right. Okay. And I will do a screen share. All right. So this is ChatGPT, and this is where I started with my idea of the code bases, right? So this is my research buddy design that I went through. Again, it was a few hours before I could actually get this up and running. So ChatGPT is like your first stop shop. This is where you can start getting your prompt ready, everything you need to know in order to make sure that you are using the right stack and you are using the right set of tools and softwares rather than the getting started but then getting stuck. So I'm going to be using ChatGPT and I am going to be using Replit. As you can see, it is an app on my iPad. I have signed up for the paid version in Replit, and this is what it looks like. I have my own workspace. You can name it whatever you want. And then after that, these are the apps. Whenever you generate an app, it will show up in here. So all of the different versions, all say everything will be right here. All right. So let's start with what ChatGPT had to offer us. So whenever you want to start with a new design, let's say you want to create your web page in order to demonstrate all of the different research that you've done. So in that case, it is very important that you want to have the right prompt that you're starting with, right? And what I have figured out is in order to work with agents, it is very useful and very important to use headless search. What does that mean, headless search? So there are certain networks, there are certain web pages that will mine if an agent is trying to gather information from it, and it will, just block it, absolute block. So that's exactly what I faced whenever I was trying to do a Scholar. So as soon as I was trying to go to scholar.google.com and I was trying to enter a search here, Google Scholar search is not headless. What that means is if you try to utilize Google Scholar in your design for Research Buddy, it will block everything. Okay. So that's the reason why it's very important to know what are the different places where you can go and search, which is not absolutely Google search or Scholar search, because these are absolutely not headless. Then you need to get an inspiration. That's the second point. Now, what was my inspiration? My inspiration was paper lantern. I wanted to show you this very cool website, and I learned about it in when I went to present my paper at NeurIPS last year. Sorry, it's not paperlantern.com, but it is actually paper lantern. Sorry, lantern.ai. All right. There you go. So paperlantern.ai, this was the web page that was launched at the conference in order to host all of the papers. So now you can see if you want computer science or biomedical sciences, whatever you want. And here you can even get a particular conference, like if you're looking for like new rips or any other particular, conference, you can search for them as well. So here, if I go and now it's not really keyword specific anymore, you can actually search in natural language. So let's say I want to search here is what are the recent papers in medical image segmentation using agentic AI, right? You can have something as abstract as that. And as you can see, the first time it takes some time in order to go search. But once it's there, then it's able to find you the right papers. It can show you, what they are, how many citations there are. And this is where I understood it's always indexing on archive. It is not really searching at Google Scholar. because that is where you will start getting the gateway errors, and that is where it will not work out the way that you want. So that's the reason why it's very important that you go and you start your search on archive.org. And here again, typically if some paper has like 21 citations, you know that it is typically higher quality. So in that case, you can go and search for the paper. So in this case, it will only give you the abstract, but that is why I wanted my research buddy to be one step ahead. So my inspiration was from paperlantern.ai, but I wanted to go a step ahead and then have just one paper and have it summarized so that it's something that I can read and I can digest very quickly. All right, now this was the raw materials that I started with. Now let's get straight into the app itself. So I had an inspiration. I create an initial prompt from your ChatGPT, and I have an idea that I cannot just use blindly Google Scholar, or I need to go and get something like Archive. Once that is done, and this is my research hub. Now let's get to what my end, because I'm the developer. So let's show you what are the projects that I have worked on and what they look like. So this is the sneak peek I was talking about into next week's content. I am actually building a job radar AI. So this is something that will help you find your next job better through LinkedIn. Although LinkedIn is not an headless mining agent, it will block anybody who tries to go and mine their feed. But I have found another way out so that you can figure out which jobs are there for you, and your job agent will come and indicate it to you that you need to go and apply and what the steps there are. So please, please, please stay tuned and check out next week's presentation. All right. Let's take a look at, I was just checking the health of the stream. Okay, now let's start with the Research Buddy. This was the Research Buddy webpage that I had generated. Now, again, understand that starting from archive, I saw what Paper Lantern was doing, and then I was able to get into what this Research Buddy is created. So now let's, again, the same analogy holds here, right? So I can go and do a search. So let's see what I want to do here. Medical image 3D stacks, tumor segmentation. So I wanted to start with something which is very, very domain oriented, and then show you how it would work if it was like a computer science domain, right? So here you see again the top pages papers has been shown. And here, this is where I went with my job buddy, with my research buddy. I went a step ahead from paperlantern.ai. That just shows you what the archive paper is. But what this does, it actually does the reading itself. A lot of times, you are not really in the mind space in order to really go and read the paper. And that is completely fine. So that is what I'm trying to do here, is to make your job easier for you. Okay, and you can additionally also, I will show you how you can also take this paper and go to NoteLM. And in NoteLM, if you put this paper in, it will also generate a quiz section for you, where it's going to ask you what you understood from the paper. It's going to give you like slides. So understanding knowledge has become super easy now if you know the right tools. And that is what we are about in this channel, to know the right tooling in order to do so. So as you can see in this paper, the key innovation is multi-resolution fusion. And again, it's using vision foundational models. The difference between natural language models and the vision foundation models is the input itself is images, right? So images and 3D stacks. So in this case, low resolution for global semantics and fine-grained detail can be combined. So by combining at inference time rather than retraining. So these are the new foundational models that don't need high resolution fine tuning, but they are all doing post training. That means once the training has completed, there is some inference. At inference time, you can actually add a certain amount of data in order to get the job done much faster. So the approach is again notable and for its simplicity. And again, as you can see, it is using the Dino V2. That is a very well-known data set in order to go ahead with it, right? So it's using Dino V2 and Siglip. And then again, there is another one for alignment from reference to video generation. Typically, I've seen that if you have a domain-specific topic, then only one paper I have seen is the most relevant one. And this is because I had asked my research buddy to give me any paper with a semantic similarity score of zero point 0.2. So zero point 0.2 is 20%. If something is just 20% similar, then just show me. Otherwise, it just goes into this thinking mode for so long that I just keep waiting forever. So that's the reason why there is a certain recency bias. So this search or the retrieval aspect of it, it definitely needs much more fine tuning. So this is not the final version. If anybody is interested in making sure that you want to read more about just the retrieval section. So right now, that is the major area where LLMs are getting fine tuned or utilize them more. But that is also the current industry gap is the retrieval. So generative retrieval is definitely a huge area where a lot of people are trying to focus their energy on. And that's the reason why it has a huge potential in that particular area. All right. I am keeping a watch on the chat. If anybody wants to send me a message, please do. I am going to, post a message in the chat thread as well. All right. So let's get straight to it. So this is what you would see in this research buddy. This is just the plain and simple MVP version. So Replit is very good in spitting up just the very plain and simple early version. But if you want like a much more in-depth, much more accurate version, like I said, now I can just easily go to the code base and update the retrieval section itself. Now let's see how I would go about doing that. So this is where I can see all of my final published agents. But now if I really want to change them, so this is where I go, and this is where I can see all of the code. If I want to publish them onto the web, then there is a way, there's a connector to do that. I wanted to show you all of the different apps here and what they mean. Again, tools are changing so much that in next few years, in the next few months, probably I'm going to see this becomes completely different. But here there is a huge requirement in order to make sure that the front end is very accurate. So most of them is just about the front end. These are all of the .ts files and how they have been put together. This is all of how the research buddy API looks like. So this is one thing I wanted to show you is in case in such situations where you have these agents publish code, you will see this green and red constantly. What does that really mean? Green means new code that got generated in the last run, and red was code that was dropped. So whenever you're dropping some code which is not serving its purpose anymore, then that becomes shown in. So it's like a difference image that you can see, and this difference image is very useful in order to finally figure out how the code base merged or converged to the final format, right? So this is, as you can see, the error response, how all of them are now being summarized. So it's just going to give you the difference of the IM diff, as you can see. And then this is again the final code commit. So if you were the human who was doing this would just be your GitHub, and then this is how you're doing your code commit as an MLOps. But then finally, this is the whole deployment angle of it. So what I was mentioning is, let's say that these are all of the different checkers that the system did before it was able to give you the right match. So here is what I noticed, what I gave my system, that only give me return a paper when it is about 20% match. But you can always go into, and just in very plain and simple English language, you can say, I want to make the retrieved papers more relevant. Um, increase the relevance match to, what should I call it? To 30%. Okay. So you see, it will start to work here. And okay. All right, I am just checking. Okay. All right. So let's go and check here. So it's seeing that your scoring line is here, and there appears to be, you want at least 30% overlap. So this is all you need to do. If you have a concept, if you have a specifications you want to put, that's all you need to do, and it will just figure that out. It'll do a keyword match, and then it will show you all of the different changes as you are making it. You can also go back if you think that this was way too much, you don't want to change it, and you can always roll back. So here you see it was just doing a constantly rank, but now they are putting a keyword match, and if this was not interesting, then you can always say that go back to your minimum version. So you can do that as well. And let's go and see what the final status is. And papers required to have at least 30%. And now let's see if it is a little more accurate or not. Okay. Thank you for joining, Venkatesan. The notebook LM is more than enough. Perfect. So this is in this case, what I will try to do is this whole prompt that I have, I will be putting that prompt in my comments, or with this particular office hours, so that you have access to this whole thing. And then you can always download it. You can put that anywhere. You can host that on any other node if you want. That also works. So now let's ask it something much more computer sciencey, okay? So let's say I am asking it, if multi-agents are in a deadlock, how can we exit the loop? Like, it's a very computer science question, right? It is not really a medical image, sort of a question here anymore. So I want to see how it actually works. So here, as you can see, it was very quickly able to make that change. And now, so how far can a general purpose coding agent go? This is, again, as you will see, that these are very recent papers. And now if I say, just summarize this, that's where it starts going. So let's take a look. It takes probes the limits of general purpose coding agents. Moderns are specifically not trained on hardware tasks. That is true. So an agent factory, it needs to be coordinated in two-stage multiple pipeline. By demonstrating the shelf coding agents, Claude Code can rediscover hardware, and this frame scaling is a particular axis. And then there you go. It's the ILP. This is the mechanism that they've used, and Claude Code, Opus 4.5, has been used to generate the transformations. So Claude is extremely strong whenever you are trying to do or trying to understand a code base in itself. So that's the reason why most of the coding agencies, they try to focus on Claude itself. I will be having Claude based examples for you to try out as well. But for now, if you wanted to start minimalist with something which is just an MVP, then Replit is definitely the way to go. You can get it started. And like I mentioned, if you want a little more details into it, just as one of our very a humble, commenter asked that NoteLM is definitely the way to go. That is the place where you can bring in all of your information, and you can get like cards, cheat sheets, CSVs. You can get anything that you want. One thing that I have noticed is if the topic is not a regular topic, like let's say it's a very specific kind of vision, let's say computer vision. If it's a very specific kind of modality like LiDAR, 950 nanometers or 1050 nanometers, how it's different from the others. In those cases, NoteLM sometimes it can skip details just because it doesn't know to find them. So that's the reason why always going blindly with these tools is also not the best way to go. So that's the reason why I make sure that whenever you are focusing on on these debugs, you are bringing something to the table as well, and not just going by whatever the system is spitting out. So as simple as that, what I wanted to just make sure I wanted to talk about is there is ChatGPT, and then there is Replit. You can get like a very simple code stack pushed in the matter of minutes if you know what are the right changes that you want to make, right? If those like where I am going mining, what are the components that I want in my research buddy. You don't need to think about a front end. You don't need to think about how what happens if there is an hallucination. You can always say, put an LLM as a judge, make the retrieval better. It will do all of these tasks for you automatically. All right, so that's the reason why we are starting minimalist. It's a basic version, but next week's version, I think, will be more interesting as I also put into action crew.ai. We will be doing no code or low code coding, where you will just see these are boxes. It looks just like a flow chart. The flow charts will come together and a job agent will get generated. All right. With that, I will stop my broadcasting and see if there are any questions. Again, I apologize. Today, I was not able to, connect to my previous, screen share live stream. But next time onwards, lesson learned. I will make sure that I'm able to get connected a little early. But that is going to be the schedule for these sessions. I will be joining every other week as a live stream, and the week that I'm not here, you will get a new agentic approach for you to experiment and work on. So, like I said, I will finish this one if there are any other questions. If not, again, this whole prompt will be available to you. So that way you don't have to go and search, ChatGPT. Just take that prompt, put that into crew.ai, put that into Replit, and you should be able to get your own research buddy ready as well. All right. Okay. And is there any other questions? If not, I will end the live stream for today. It was really amazing getting back onto the live stream processes. I think I'm doing this after a good few years. But I really, really, really appreciate my whole community here. You guys have really helped me stay motivated, as well as keep posting. I'm really thankful that now we have over 10,000 subscribers on this channel. So that's the reason why I want to make sure that the right content, the right most engaging content, is the one that I present to you. Thank you again, and have a great rest of your weekend, and stay tuned for